Hi, my name's Walter Montero. I'm a real estate and mortgage agent here in Cambridge, Ontario, and I've had the privilege of serving our community since 1987. Over the years, I've met some great people here in our community in many different businesses and walks of life. Some, of course, are well known, and others are some of the best kept secrets in town. So the purpose of this podcast is to share and introduce them to you. Welcome to the I Love Cambridge podcast. Perfect. Okay, sounds good. So Karen Egoff, and your business name is My Soul Balance.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself and about your business.
Okay, thank you very much, Walter. My business has evolved from me letting go of being in selling promotional products and all the other wonderful things I did. I was in printing companies for years. I did so much in that area. And then doors started closing for me, and I realized it was happening for a reason. Companies were actually shutting down that I used to manage. And I realized I really have to get more into my wellness, and I meditated upon it, and the answer just kept coming up. So I'm a wellness coach and practitioner. I help people with reiki and other energy healing abilities that I have innately that I've connected over the years of traveling from here to Hawaii to learn, to the Big Island a couple times, California, Mount Shasta a couple times, Carolinas. I had one of my teacher trainers in yoga down there. I did 8 retreats with her down there. So I learned how to sculpture my wellness and make it into a business.
Okay, great.
I have gifts, but I kind of denied them for a long time.
So how did you discover you had these gifts?
Well, when I was quite young, I used to see things that no one else could see. Angels, people that had died, energy, and no one else would see it. So I had to put teddy bears and little dolls at a tea table to pretend I was talking to them so they didn't think I was crazy. So it started quite young. My mom and I could read each other's mind, and my other family members didn't like that, so we had to stop. So I put it on a shelf for years. Now I see and hear things as often as I want to. I have to turn it off so that I can live like a regular person most of the time.
Interesting. Okay, well, very good. So now let me ask you a little bit about the services of your business. Now, there's 2 things that are on your website that I always thought were kind of sister disciplines. One, of course, being Reiki, and the other one being Bowen Therapy. First of all, is there a difference, and what are their similarities?
Great question. So my husband mainly takes on the Bowen part because he's a genius with memory work. He likes to get 100% on every test he's ever taken since grade 1. Okay. And he usually does.
So he's probably good at Jeopardy.
Yes. That's one of So you have to map out the body to know Bowen, and you have to remember all the moves beside the spine and on the shoulders, the legs, etc. He can unwind anything in your back of your body that I've seen many times by just moving little movements on the tendons and muscles in your body, legs, arms, shoulders. It's amazing. He can even help with TMJ. So these are gentle movements, but when he gets to the hamstrings, sometimes you will feel a little bit more than just gentle. It may be a little pressure.
Okay.
So that's a physical movement that you can actually feel. It almost like someone just like took Drano to your pipes in your sink. Same thing, only for you. You're just getting that with a tiny movement. For Reiki is a hands-on energy that can be hovering above the body or it can be hands-on.
Okay.
The energy flows from divine, universe, whatever their higher awareness is, and you decide, the person that's being healed will make a decision of what they want, and that will happen within their body.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, some amazing things happen. Now, Cranial Sacral is my major along with Reiki, and the Cranial Sacral, which probably is your next on the list. So I hold the cranium and I feel your spinal energy flow.
Okay.
there's a fluid that's flowing called cranial sacral fluid. And it's
Yep.
like taking, those wine holders, the little green things that you just keep the bottles from breaking. If I scrunch that up, or an onion bag, if I scrunch that up, that's what happens to your fascia, your connective tissue in your body, all through your whole body. I unscrunch you by just holding here and different parts of your major joints, and I can release the scrunched, and I unscrunch you from the outside in by talking and listening to your body.
So that I would have to think that's probably very similar to how you feel after you have a good sleep.
Yes.
Okay. Because my understanding of sleep is that the fluid drains from your sacral cranial area, correct?
Yes, it's making some adjustments.
Okay. So yeah, I totally understand what the feeling that you're trying to describe there.
Good.
Yeah, very cool.
Nice.
Very cool. So you're located in Cambridge, obviously. So you service the Cambridge, Kitchener-Waterloo client base, I would imagine.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Of course, with all the COVID rules, we take care of clients, but also Reiki can be done online.
Okay. Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
Very
Prior
good.
to COVID too, we had a lot of clients.
So obviously COVID has had some sort of effect on your business, correct?
Yes, because even online clients, if they're not making the money they used to, they're putting down the list and we're on the bottom.
Sure. Yeah, I totally get it. Okay.
Yeah. For some have to see us and they need us just to get through the month. So there's some people that need us because they're taking on so much stress. We help them release that just by a Reiki online.
Very cool. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, you also deal with aromatherapy and ion foot baths.
That's correct. The ion foot baths the foot baths are amazing. So you bring in positive and negative ions through a bowl of water and an ion cleanser, and it's up and down, and you'll see the colors. And on a chart, we'll say, well, orange is joints, so you're cleaning out of your joints, or green is gallbladder, and you will see the colors come through. If you have candida and you've eaten too much milk products and wheat, that'll also show like bubbles, white bubbles.
And this fluid, or I guess water, actually, even is pretty clear when the process starts, correct?
It's right out of the tap, clean as anything.
It's right out of and then it changes color through the process, right?
Yes, by halfway through.
I've seen it. My wife did it. I can't remember where we were, but it was very interesting to observe.
It is something to see. So in fact, sometimes it is quite smelly, and I have to just kind of,
put your mask on.
Put the mask on just to get rid of it.
Right on. So now what about, and then of course you have meditation, and then there's something here called Dowsing 101 workshop.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So dowsing is something I just absolutely love. I light up when people talk about dowsing. I empower women mainly because more men were taught dowsing, but I include co-ed dowsing. So dowsing is it's either using a pendulum, which I'm going to just grab. I should have had ready for you. Yeah, here's one. So it's either using a pendulum to connect to divine energy, and I teach people how to get the quiet questions that you're supposed to ask, things that you should never ask, things that you should ask. Dowsing is a giving. So when you ask to give to someone or to find something for the highest good, then you're fine, but never for selfish reasons. So this would be a yes, and you can see these rods moving. That's dowsing with owl rods. And now I ask for my no, please say no, and you'll see they're moving away. That's my no. Oh, so you can.
They look like something you use to find, like we being in the real estate business, sometimes they have a hard time finding the septic or well system.
Yes.
And I see guys show up at those things.
I have found a water for a local company, actually, when he bought some land out in the country, he needed us to find the water, and we found it.
Yeah,
And he
I've
got
seen
them
it in
there.
action. It's amazing that it works. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, it
And then,
helps for many things. You can also find ley lines, which is fantastic.
what's that?
Ley ley lines. And in England, you'll see some of the cities' names are ended with ley because
Yeah,
they're very special ley line points through England, of course,
yeah.
Stonehenge, etc. Ley lines are highways on Earth that are invisible to most of us, and we can find them with our L rods.
All right, interesting. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You know that some of our listeners and viewers are going to think we're crazy here,
But
right?
did you know Galt was built with Scots? This a big part of Galt was from the Scots,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
they were masons. They used L rods to find where to build. See, today, the biggest thing I find is a big issue is a lot of people are on a house where they're not built on the square. Well,
Yeah.
if you're built with a square with highways of earth, ley lines, then you're not going to have a ley line running through your bedroom. Do you know how many people I've had to clear and move the ley line off their bedroom just so they could sleep at night?
Is that right?
In England to Canada, I've seen it all.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yes.
Okay. So now, what about the your spiritual art classes and meditation? Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So the meditation, it can be for rooting, for grounding. We can talk about the chakra system, the root, the sacral, the solar, the heart, throat center, third eye or first eye, and crown. So we can deal with all that. A lot of grounding right now, I find, actually, Walter, just to get through all the changes that we're going through. A lot of
Yeah.
people need grounding. So I do a lot of grounding or rebirthing, or not so much rebirth. It's like butterfly, go to our cocoon and reinvent ourselves, because that's what we're all doing
Mhm.
right now, is starting from scratch.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, Karen, let me ask you a question. When does somebody know that, or when should somebody know that they should call on somebody like you?
When they feel fuzzy in their head and they can't quite think for a minute and they go, I just need like 5 minutes. If they're doing that often in the day and you go to bed and your head is so full that you're like, I can't even sleep, I'm so busy. That would be the indicators of stress. Or if they ache all over and they don't know why, it's usually they're holding in their joints. And a lot of people come with heavy shoulders.
Yeah.
So if you feel heavy, we can help take some of that weight off and let that go.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now, have you ever had, and I'm sure you have you ever had anybody come in that was, say, skeptical and you've turned them around?
Yes, I certainly did. I had one gentleman, a young guy, his girlfriend really insisted he tries Reiki, and he wasn't too sure. About 15 minutes into it, he says, I feel all this energy. I feel too much. I got to go. He bolted out of the room, and I didn't see him for dust. I phoned his girlfriend or texted him or her and said, sorry that I couldn't keep him there. But she said, my dear, and she answered me the next day. I get chills just talking about it. I call them angel chills or shivers. The next day, she said, he went to see his brother and made the connection he needed. He did something else with another person in the family. I continued to feel the energy of this. So he broke the past and got to the present moment and made peace with the past. And it took 15 minutes, which I really don't recommend, but it happened. And yeah, so he was a skeptic, and he actually was surprised at what he felt. He didn't think he was going to feel anything, and
Very interesting.
he changed.
So he had something on his conscience, for lack of a
Heavy,
better term, that he had to clean up.
yeah, some heavy items.
Very interesting. So now, when somebody wants to call and book an appointment with you, I would imagine because of your menu of services, the appointment times and slots are different, correct?
Right. I just recommend people to email me, text me
Yeah.
on the 519-496-1888. anytime, 24 hours a day, because I turn my phone off in the evening, like late. The other thing is Karen Egoff, Egoff for Fox. You can find me on Instagram with my Soul Balance logo. And you can also find me, Karen Egoff, with my picture on Facebook. And I'm on LinkedIn. So I'm really everywhere social media has.
Okay, perfect. All right. Excellent. So that's pretty easy to hook up with you.
Pretty easy, yes.
Well, how much lead time do you need? A day, a week, a month?
If they want an evening, it's usually 2 weeks. It's
Okay.
a week to 10 days normally, unless they have like, hey, I'm flexible and I have an hour that came up, then yeah, I can put that
Very
in.
good. Very good. And do you want to tell us anything about your Toastmasters award?
Certainly. So it took me quite a while, over 10 years, to finally get to my gold. And I was on that scale for 2.5, 3 years. And I guess we just weren't moving fast. I did so much work to get there. And then I had this one big project that I was avoiding because it's a 90-minute presentation. And who wants to just jump into one of those? Of course, COVID hit and they said, you can't do your presentation live, which I was going to do. I had to change it up. And that had me in butterflies, right? 11 years in the Toastmasters, and I was really nervous. But I took the bull by the horns and said, you got to get over this too. And I did the presentation. Everybody liked it. They said I was inspiring, and I got it done. And, you know, it's just a great group to belong to, and you learn so much about yourself, and it changes you in every facet of your life.
Very good. Very cool. Excellent. Now, I just want to come back to the Bowen and the Reiki again. Reiki is obviously more of an Eastern style discipline, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And Bowen, I think, has its roots in Australia, correct?
Dr. Bowen, you're right.
Yeah. Okay.
Our teacher was from Britain, and he lives in British Columbia, and he flew in to teach a bunch of us. But after level 2, I said, I like this, but there's a lot of memory work here, and I'm more flow with things once I learn it. This one, you really have to do it quite often to remember things. And so my husband said, well, I love this. This is perfect. I said, great. So he took the full levels, and this gentleman from BC flew in every time and taught us.
Wow, that's very neat.
Yeah,
Excellent.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, your disciplines are very interesting, and I'm sure that our audience is going to really enjoy hearing more about you. And give us the phone numbers and the email and the website again, just so we make sure that everybody has it.
Certainly. It's www.mysoul, that's SOUL, balance, or soulbalance.com. So mysoulbalance.com is the web.
Yep.
And Karen.soul, SOUL, balance @gmail.com is the email.
Okay.
519-496-1888 is the mobile phone / text 24 hours a day.
Okay, perfect. Excellent. Now, Karen, was there any question that I didn't ask you that I should have, or anything that you want to mention?
No, you did mention about aromatherapy just quickly. My husband does make aromatherapy sprays with some high quality oils, which we can make a blend for grief. We can make a blend for joy, like whatever you need to find inner peace. We have about 80 different oils that we can make whatever blend you need. Lavender, of course, being one for uplifting or relaxing, but helping you feel good about yourself. And patchouli being very earthy and grounding, and very good if you just need to get grounded.
Excellent. Okay.
So we make a spray, and it keeps the price down, and you can use it in your room, you can use it in the kitchen, whatever you need, just to bring in that scent of whatever that inner peace is you're required at this time.
Excellent. All right. Karen, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. You're a ton of energy. I can just sense it.
I am. That's why I love giving Reiki and different treatments, is because, and I taught the other thing, I taught yoga today at 11:05 a.m. On Wednesdays, I have yoga 2 classes for $10. And if you invite a friend, you get your next class free. So the 3rd class is free. And I'm looking for, it's like $10 for 2 classes, 30 minutes. It's such a deal. Yoga in the chair. Yeah, yoga in the chair and standing, or you can go on your mat. And I tell people, if you have to sit for the whole time, some people have leg issues, sit down, relax, and enjoy a 30-minute stretch that you'll be surprised how you feel when you're done.
And that's done online, is it?
Wednesdays at 11:05 weekly, on Zoom.
Awesome. Very good. Great. Karen, thanks again. I appreciate your time.
Well, thank you, Walter. I really appreciate the interview.
Okay, you bet. Have a good day.
Happy Cambridge times.
Yes.
Keep safe.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks a lot, Karen. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
And
Walter.
we'll give you a heads up as soon as the recording is ready. It'll all be edited up. And
Sure.
we'll share it with you through a couple of the links, YouTube, Facebook.
Yeah.
And then we'll send you the,
Yes,
the raw footage as well.
The links, yeah. And then if you do something on Facebook, message me on Facebook, Karen Egoff, and say, hey, we sent this on our, and I can repost and do things like that too.
Perfect. Okay.
I think
I'll make sure that Kyla takes care of that for you.
Thanks so much.
Okay. We'll see you later.
Bye for now, Walter.
Bye-bye.